What up, cuckolds? You know what I'm saying? It's your boy, and we're getting closer and closer to Wrestlemania. But worry not, motherfucks. We still have about a month till we get there, which means another month of a daily video from your boy, the hater, your girl's favorite YouTuber, you know what I mean. So anyways, today we're going to talk about how despite the fact that we're less than a month away, I think, from WrestleMania, I believe it's like the 9th and the 10th, or some shit like that, right? We're less than a month away. But does it feel like we're less than a month away? Does it feel like WrestleMania is around the corner? No, motherfucks, no. Over this last year, we have taken, especially here on the Hater channel, motherfuckers, subscribe today, almost 1,000 subs. In this channel, we have talked about consistently about the fact and the possibility that a lot of the things that have gone wrong with wrestling, right, can and probably should be attributed to COVID, right? But this is where the ball stops, motherfucks. We're turning the corner, cucks. We're turning the corner. The hater, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to get my vaccine soon enough, you know what I mean? So I'll be back up in this bitch. And I think the same is going to be true for a lot of people really soon, hopefully, right? You know, now the facts are what the facts are. You know, and also millions of people have gotten the vaccine, so now I feel comfortable getting it myself, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be one of those first motherfucks. So anyways, yeah, a lot of people have blamed the state of affairs of WWE and even AEW on COVID, which is fair. But here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. Certain things are just bad planning, right? So you can blame COVID for having no crowds, etc., etc. You can't really blame COVID for the fact that nothing has been happening on Raw, right, for the last few weeks. I mean, Lashley won the title, and that's huge. You know, that's big. That's a new thing, right? Not just the fact that Lashley won, but it's new because typically that's not what happens in wrestling. Like, a guy doesn't just win the title on Raw and then go to WrestleMania with it. That may be the first time that's ever happened, if I'm being honest. So that's kind of cool. But the facts are what the facts are. There's really no push towards any of the storylines, right? Now, I haven't been watching SmackDown very much, so I don't know. I mean, like, but from what I do know, from what I have seen, Edge and Roman Reigns, their feud is like, I don't even know why they're feuding. It's just like, I mean, Edge won the Royal Rumble, and he came in and he speared Roman at the pay-per-view, right? Just to basically say, like, I'm going to challenge you, Roman. It's like, but why are you spearing him? Like, what did he do to you? You know what I mean? Like, did Roman do anything to Edge? No, so why are you attacking his ass? But whatever, it is what it is. That's a common wrestling trope. Now, on Raw, on the other hand, nothing's really happening. I mean, like, you should, like, I don't know why they refuse to have storylines around matches, right? Especially, this is especially true, I believe, with respect to mid-card titles, right? And tag team titles. There's almost never a story now anymore at WrestleMania for the mid-card titles. It's always just like, I want to be a mid-card champion and you're champion, so I'm going to beat you for it, you know? Like when they had Seth Rollins and Finn Balor and Lashley or whatever the fuck it was, right? And Seth Rollins came out on top, and then the next year Finn Balor came out on top. The storyline was just like, I want to be Intercontinental Champion, and that's it. Like, there was nothing more, nothing less to the story than that. So it's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like you have an opportunity here to tell a story, right? So maybe they're going to do that, but it's almost there, motherfucks. We're 1 month away. That means that we have 4 weeks. Right now, I understand with social media and other things, you know, you can build storylines in different ways, right? So you don't have to wait for Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. You can do it, you know, or Wednesday Night NXT. You can do it in other ways. I understand that. But the facts are what the facts are. You still have about 8 episodes of primetime TV, 12 if you count NXT, which I kind of don't, but whatever. Let's say 12. You still have 12 episodes to fully flesh out a story, right? And when I say fully flesh out, I don't just mean like lay the foundation and be like, oh, here's what's going to happen. These guys are going to fight because one of them fucked the other's wives. No, I don't mean that, right? I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about setting up a story, right? And letting like the elements of the story curdle, motherfuckers. Curdle is the word of the day up in this bitch. Curdle, right? You need things to develop themselves. You need things to percolate, if you will, right? So like, if for example, let's say Edge, like, I don't know, attacks Jey Uso like next week, right? And hits his leg with like a little one-man concerto. You know? It should take like a week or so for Jey Uso's anger to fester up, and then Edge can be addressed the week afterwards, right? So it's like everything needs some time, you know? And when I say everything, I mean all storylines in general, right? But this is especially true when we talk about WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's WrestleMania, bro. You know? Like these things, like it should all be about the stories, right? I'm not saying, you know, write a masterpiece, write some Shakespearean shit. No one's saying that, you know? Just a simple story. You know, just a reason to have it done, right? And it seems like they're not going this way, you know? especially this year, it appears that the WrestleMania week is now going to be like a big deal. There's going to be a lot of wrestling going on. You know, I'm sure that Friday there will be something. You know, maybe like, I don't know, some horse shit. Like it'd be cool if like on the last episode of NXT, like the second day of Stand and Deliver, they just come up with the number one contender for the NXT title, and then that person wrestles the NXT champion at WrestleMania. It would make NXT feel big, you know? Like NXT, the fact that NXT is not represented in pay-per-views and they have their own pay-per-views, is kind of silly, right? Because the brand extension isn't really a thing anymore, right? Like, I mean, insofar as like the pay-per-views don't follow the brand extension. Like there's no like, you know, SmackDown pay-per-view and Raw pay-per-view. There's just pay-per-views, right? And people from different shows wrestle on those pay-per-views, but there's just pay-per-views. There's nothing really like special going on. But NXT doesn't fit into this like paradigm. They're like the redheaded stepchild, right? So it's like all the shows, including NXT, should be featured, but all the shows should also start doing some storylines, right? Like it's looking like it's going to be Karrion Kross versus Cuck Balor at the Stand and Deliver, right? I'm not excited about this at all personally, right? But at least they started the story. You know, they established who's going to wrestle who. Now, with respect to Karrion Kross and Finn Balor, this is not going to be a good story. Like we all know it. You know, we all know that the story's going to be Finn Balor's going to come out and say, I worked my way up back from Monday Night Raw to come back to NXT and become the champ, right? He's going to say that horseshit, right? And then Karrion Kross is going to do some time metaphors. He's going to say TikTok a few times. He's going to tell Finn Balor his time is almost up. And that's going to be the feud. I mean, I don't know. I hate to keep shitting on Karrion Kross, but I think this guy might be one of the worst characters I've ever seen. Like since Bray Wyatt. It's just a retard who comes out and talks about clocks. You know? Oh, the time is up. Your time is up, TikTok here. Like this is the same shit to everybody. Like what are his motivations? Like what are his things, right? I would like to see something like Dexter Lumis be involved in a long-term story. And I mean a real one. Not he kidnapped and like raped or whatever, fucking Austin Theory, you know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit about that. That's stupid, right? But that's where that's going to, right? It's going to be him versus Gargano. Hopefully Dexter Lumis wins. Dexter Lumis deserves a title. He's fucking awesome, right? So that's what I'm getting at, right? There's a few people that are in storylines, but there are a lot of storylines that aren't there yet, right? If you really think about it, the majority of the storylines, like I believe the only matches that have been announced for WrestleMania are the 2 Royal Rumble matches. You know what I mean? So it's like it's evident that like those matches were gonna happen, right? I mean, once the ball started rolling. But think about what that means. That means that there's been no storytelling whatsoever. That the only things that we know are things that are dependent on fucking Royal Rumble, which was like a month ago, right? Things that matter today are a direct result of the last pay-per-view. You see what I'm getting at, motherfucks? You see what I'm getting at? Like no development has been made. Like you don't have to develop the Royal Rumble. It's just like the person who wins is gonna go on and main event WrestleMania. We know this, right? So it's the same thing. But like you would expect that from now. I mean, I understand that Fastlane is in the way, but Fastlane is obviously a throwaway pay-per-view. Like nobody's gonna win anything in Fastlane. Like we already know that it's gonna be Edge versus Roman Reigns. It's not gonna be Edge versus Daniel Bryan, right? That's fucking retarded. So there you have it. You know what I mean? Like all these things that are happening in Fastlane are a waste of time, right? They're doing the obligatory Sasha Banks and what's her face, Bianca Belair go at it at the titles one more time. I think they're gonna win. You know, just like I thought they were gonna win at Rumble. Like I don't see or whatever the fuck it was, the one before. Whatever, you know what I'm saying, right? It's important that they win, I think, just because like it adds that extra dynamic that we have always seen now in these things, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna go up in this motherfucker, but point is, it doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. You know, right now people should be losing their minds at like salivating at the feuds that are coming around this WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like it should be very clear what's happening at WrestleMania right now. But it really isn't. I mean, there's a few, indicators, right? But it's like, even the indicators that are there, like they don't feel correct, right? They don't feel big enough. They don't feel WrestleMania enough. So there you have it. I mean, I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but I just gotta say that it doesn't really feel like WrestleMania. Nothing feels big time yet, you know. And also, I wonder what AEW is gonna do to like counter WrestleMania. Like they should do something. Like if they're smart, they'll do like a free show that Sunday or something. You know, like AEW, like big ass. Like why does someone do that? Just like a big ass pay-per-view that Sunday and do some crazy shit, right? Just take a few 100,000 viewers from WrestleMania. I don't know. You know, so that's what I would. Although it probably wouldn't work anyways. But anyways, yeah, motherfucks. That's what I gotta say about that. It's WrestleMania season, and I think this might be one of the most disappointing WrestleManias of all time. I personally think that last year's WrestleMania was one of the worst WrestleManias ever. I know some people pretended that they liked it, and some people really did like it, but the facts are what the facts are. Nothing great happened last WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre winning the title wasn't a big of a deal. It wasn't a good match. The Goldberg match wasn't a good match, obviously, and it was Braun Strowman, and that meant nothing, so that wasn't good. The two cinematic matches I thought were complete garbage. Like I just talked about the 4 most important matches. You know what I mean? And none of them were good. Not one of them was a good match. And then you had Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler, which also wasn't good. Like, what was good? Like last WrestleMania, honestly, what was good? Owens versus like Seth Rollins? No, motherfuckers. There you go. I got nothing more to say about this horseshit WrestleMania, the one before.